all rappers, including myself, if you plan on dropping an album anytime this year, go ahead and wait till 2016, because now that this shit's out, you're gonna get this much fucking attention and no one's gonna give a fuck.
You know what I'm saying? And it looked like the dude is just about to start running again. We see the Pimp a Butterfly.
Man, isn't that album incredible?
Yeah, man.
He put together an amazing album, man.
You know what it is?
Other people, though, might have a beef with this record being so dense, lengthy, and kind of difficult to trudge through if you're not enjoying every single track on this album.
Some albums divide people. They spark debates, arguments, even full-on think pieces. To Pimp a Butterfly is one of those albums. For some, it's the greatest rap album of all time, a masterpiece that pushed hip-hop into uncharted territory. And for others, it's overhyped, too dense, even unlistenable. But for me, it was the album that changed everything. Welcome to episode 2 of my new series, Albums That Define My Music Taste, where I discuss albums that have shifted my mindset around music. To Pimp a Butterfly wasn't just music. It was a mirror, a classroom, a revolution wrapped into one. And as a teenager trying to make sense of myself, this was the project that really shaped everything for me. When To Pimp a Butterfly dropped in March of 2015, I didn't know what I was walking into. At first listen, I was confused. It wasn't like anything I'd ever heard before. Not just beats and rhymes, but layers of jazz, funk, spoken word, and soul. This wasn't just background music. It demanded my attention. And for the first time with the rap album, I decided I need to understand this. Over the next year and some change, I studied it. I replayed tracks, watched the music videos, read articles, joined discussions, and dug deep into the layers. Every time I thought I had figured it out, Kendrick revealed another meaning.
But she was saying how black people are butterflies because we start off in a cocoon, and the cocoon is kind of imposed by outside forces, right? And then after a while, those outside forces, they can step away, and then we start to self-impose the cocoon. And then you have other entities that are coming in, and they're pimping that struggle of us breaking out of that cocoon and becoming a butterfly.
What made this album so different is the sound. Kendrick wasn't just following trends, he was creating something new.
You think I'm biased, but I would say like Pimp a Butterfly was probably like my favorite album to mix. The most complex, the most, yeah, motherfucker was a bitch.
Songs like Wesley's Theory with George Clinton set the tone immediately. The seduction of fame and the trap of consumerism. Then there was For Free, which sounded like a chaotic jazz club, but carried a message about exploitation and America's relationship with black labor.
This dick ain't free. You looking at me like it ain't a receipt, like I never made ends meet, eating your leftovers and raw meat.
King Kunta came in like a victory march, swaggering, defiant, a celebration of blackness and survival.
Where you and I was walking, now I run a game, got the whole world talking. King Kunta, everybody wanna cut the legs off him. Kunta, black man.
Even as a young teen, it really made me feel proud, like I was carrying that same confidence into my own life. The music video made it even more powerful. Kendrick standing on rooftops, dancing with the community in Compton, draped in West Coast pride. It looked like a block party, but felt like a revolution. But Kendrick doesn't let you stay comfortable. Institutionalized is a reminder that no matter how far you rise, the mindset of survival can still chain you.
Definition of a rap image. I'm trapped inside the ghetto and I ain't proud to admit it. Institutionalized, I keep running back for a visit.
Then, These Walls, with its sensual, jazzy feel.
The wall can talk, they tell me to swim good. No boat, I float better than he would. No light jacket, I'm not the guard, and that's a...
Hiding darker themes of guilt, pain, and revenge, showed me this wasn't surface-level music. It was storytelling layered in metaphor. This was paired with a music video that looked like a surreal house party gone wrong, blurring humor with darkness. It reminded me that Kendrick's storytelling was also layered. You had to watch twice, listen twice, to really capture it all. Then You came along, and this is actually one of the songs that broke me.
Loving you is complicated. Loving you is complicated. Loving you is complicated. Loving you is complicated.
Kendrick pouring out his self-hatred, sounding drunk, unraveling. It made me realize music didn't always have to be polished. Sometimes the cracks are where the truth lives. The God is Gangsta visual brought this to life. Kendrick's in a dimly lit room, shirtless, drunk, rapping in the mirror, spiraling deeper into despair. It felt raw and unfiltered, like we weren't supposed to see it, but that's what made it so honest. But just when it gets heavy, he lifts us back up with Alright. The music video is iconic. Kendrick floating above the streets of LA, police brutality imagery woven in, and then being gunned down by a cop's finger. Pharrell's production made it feel hopeful, but the lyrics carried the weight of struggle.
Be alright, huh? We gon' be alright. Nigga, we gon' be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright.
And when protesters chanted, "We gon' be alright" in the streets, it became more than a song. It was survival.
That record, it kind of attached itself to every struggle.
This album didn't just change my ear, it also changed my faith. On the For Sale interlude, Kendrick personifies temptation as Lucy, a haunting play on Lucifer.
I remember you took me to a mall last week, baby. You looked me in my eyes about 4 or 5 times till I was hypnotized, then you clarified that
It made me think about the ways temptation shows up in my own life and what it meant to resist. The short film for this track made it unforgettable. Kendrick pacing through a mansion, delivering his lines like spoken word poetry, fast, sharp, and theatrical. It wasn't just a song anymore, it was performance art. Then came How Much a Dollar Costs. Kendrick tells the story of ignoring a homeless man, only to realize he was speaking to God.
how much a dollar really costs. The question is detrimental, paralyzed in my thoughts. Parasites in my stomach keep me with a gut fit.
It forced me to look at my faith differently, to reread the Bible again, and even ask myself, am I living as a good Samaritan? Mama hit differently too. It felt like Kendrick returning to his roots after chasing knowledge and fame, realizing wisdom was always back home.
This feeling is unmatched. This feeling is brought to you by adrenaline and good rap. Black Pendleton, bar cap. West.
That made me reflect on my own foundation, my family, my values, and the lessons I can't outgrow.
It's really about me challenging myself. I think my excitement in doing music is me feeling like I'm never stagnant, me feeling like I didn't get comfortable in my own skin of what I think is good or what someone else thinks is good. Stepping outside of my comfort zone and mastering it.
For the first time, a rap album made me evaluate how I live as a Christian, not just in theory, but in practice. 2015 was also the height of the Black Lives Matter movement. Protests, pain, injustice, it was all unfolding in real time. And here was Kendrick, putting it all into music.
For me, it's so much of a spiritual process in making the album. I gotta really feel connected to the music.
Complexion reminded me that all shades of blackness are beautiful, at a time when colorism was still a heavy conversation.
Dark is the midnight hour, her bright is the morning sun. Give a fuck about your complexion, I know what the germ is done.
I mean, the title and the concept, like we didn't talk long about it. We didn't have to, because I could relate to it. Being a black female and being darker skinned, I know how that goes to play into the black community, where it's light skin versus dark skin, and that's the history. It goes back to slavery, where you have the light skinned in the house and the dark skin in the field working.
Hood politics called out systems, both in the streets and in the government, exposing the parallels. It made me start thinking more critically, more radically, about the systems around me. The Blacker the Berry was raw anchor, a declaration of power and a critique of racism and self-contradiction.
I'm the biggest hypocrite in 2015. Once I finish this, witnesses will convey just what I mean.
Then there was You Ain't Gotta Lie. It was so simple but freeing. Stop performing, stop fronting, just be real.
I see your insecurities written all on your face. So predictable your words, I know what you're gonna say. Who you fooling or you assuming you could just come in.
That message hit hard in a world where image often overshadows truth.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we about to hear now, man?
You Ain't Gotta Lie. Yeah, I think it's down the line on the track listing. It's one of my favorite joints, probably in the middle process of me recording it. I came up with this idea of the title actually and just put the lyrics around it.
And then there was I, the mantra of self-love. Hearing I love myself over and over was medicine. In a world that tells black youth we're not enough, Kendrick made it a chant, a command, a healing balm, inspiring black people globally. The album version plays like a live performance, almost chaotic, but the music video told a different story.
The devil wanna put me in a bow tie. Play that the holy water don't go dry, yeah. As I look around me, so many motherfuckers.
Kendrick walked through the streets, confronting chaos, violence, and everyday life, but kept repeating, I love myself. The final track, Mortal Man, ties it all together. Kendrick questions loyalty, leadership, and legacy. Then comes a surreal interview with Pac. Almost like Kendrick is speaking across time, carrying the torch forward.
Cannibalism out this motherfucker. They might eat the rich. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so let me ask you this then. Do you see yourself?
For me, it really felt chilling listening to that track for the very first time. And I'm a huge Pac fan, but I felt very emotional. To Pimp a Butterfly wasn't just music. It was culmination of scripture, protest, therapy, and history rolled into one. It made me really proud of my blackness, and it helped me question conformity. It made me study my faith more deeply. It radicalized me, not in anger alone, but in conviction, and knowing who I am and what I stand for. And nobody has topped it since. Almost a decade later, I still come back to this album. Every time I feel like I'm catching something new. A lyric, a hidden meaning, a moment that hits differently depending on where I'm at in life. Kendrick didn't just drop an album. He shifted the trajectory of hip hop. He fused funk, soul, jazz, and poetry at the highest level. That's the mark of a masterpiece. To Pimp a Butterfly didn't just change hip hop. It changed me, and that's why it will forever be one of the greatest rap albums of all time. What are your thoughts on To Pimp a Butterfly, and what do you guys think is the greatest rap album of all time? Let me know in the comments, and stay tuned for the next video.